Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a focused learner trying to finally understand the path to becoming a developer, you have landed in exactly the right spot. Today, we're cutting straight through all that noisy influencer fluff to bring you a true, level-by-level map for coding success. We're going to break down exactly how you get from absolute zero knowledge to totally interview-ready, all using a super clear, structured roadmap.
But first, I really want you to think about this number for a second. In the time it took you to brush your teeth this morning, right? Somewhere out there, a piece of automated code triggered a program to sell a few stock options, instantly making some unknown Wall Street firm literal millions of dollars in profit. It's wild. The truth is, once you know how to code, you can run absolute laps around anyone who doesn't.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our explainer today follows a really logical path. We'll start with the value of coding, move on to finding your solo starting line, look at a structured alternative for those who need it, conquer escaping tutorial hell, and finally, survive the dreaded LeetCode limbo.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the value of coding, and specifically, bypassing the fluff. Before you even attempt to write a line of code, we have to talk about the influencer distraction. You know exactly the vibe I'm talking about, that overcomplicated advice from first-year computer science students. They buy the shiny MacBook, the cool hoodie, stick a bunch of decals on their laptop, and post these moody late-night pictures of their code editor with literally one line of code written inside. Just forget all of that. Step 1 is insanely simple. Just start. It's a fact that 100% of successful programmers have, at some point, simply started.
And that brings us perfectly into our next section, Section 2, finding your starting line, taking the solo path.
So if you're completely broke and just want to learn slowly by yourself, roadmap.sh is going to be your absolute ultimate starting point. It's this completely free, incredibly comprehensive guide that lays out a coding roadmap for pretty much every tech role you can even think of. We're talking front-end, cybersecurity, even niche skills like AWS. It totally eliminates that paralyzing anxiety of figuring out what on earth to learn next.
Now, when you look at these roadmaps, whatever you do, please do not obsess over which programming language to learn first. People get ridiculously caught up in this. They'll argue endlessly about strongly typed languages, where you essentially have to bench press 200 pounds of strict rules just to type hello world, versus weakly typed languages like JavaScript, which, obviously weak people use. I'm kidding, but you get the point. There are languages with weird syntax, languages just for specific machines, languages that honestly probably shouldn't even exist.
And then you have folks endlessly debating low-level languages, which are miserable for humans but super easy for machines, versus high-level languages, which are great for us but give you way less control over the actual hardware. Listen, all of these debates are just pure noise when you're starting out. The actual answer? Just learn Python.
What's really interesting here is the power of simplification. You absolutely shouldn't try to learn every single tiny thing on that massive website. That would be like trying to learn how to make a grilled cheese sandwich by reading one entire textbook on bread and a totally separate textbook on cheese. It's nonsense. Just learn the topics highlighted in the yellow boxes on the roadmap, maybe take a quick course, and then immediately start making stuff. Hands-on experience is what you actually need.
But hey, what if the solo path just isn't working for you? Let's transition to Section 3, the structured alternative, or what I like to call co-op mode. If you're the type of learner who really needs a solid curriculum and a support system, the source highlights a bootcamp sponsor called 1010. This is specifically for folks who realize that logging like 14 minutes of self-studying a week just isn't cutting it. A structured program hooks you up with externships, real project experience, actual tutors, code reviews, and career help. These are vital, game-changing resources that the average self-taught learner simply does not have access to. And the crucial point here is in the hard data. Check this out. 87% of 1010 graduates get hired within 6 months of finishing. To put that into perspective, it proves that getting a tech education entirely online, entirely on your own schedule, can actually result in a real, high-paying job.
Plus, they back it up with a pretty massive safety net. If you don't find a job within 10 months of finishing the course, you literally get 100% of your money back. The source also notes you can use the code EASY for 30% off, which saves you up to $3,400. So yeah, it's a highly structured, much lower risk alternative to just studying alone in your bedroom.
All right, let's move right along to Section 4 and tackle our next big challenge, escaping tutorial hell by building your way out.
If you have ever, and I mean ever, tried to learn coding, you have likely visited this terrible, terrible place. Tutorial hell is that endless, totally paralyzing cycle of watching 11-hour YouTube coding tutorials back-to-back, copy and code line for line, without actually building or retaining a single thing yourself. Guys, you are not going to become an expert just by watching someone else code. To truly learn, you have to break out of there and ascend to project heaven. This is where accomplished developers live, breathe, and actually build things. A fantastic example from the source is the website neil.fun. It's this awesome collection of minigames made by a college student. His very first projects were super basic, stuff a beginner could whip up in a few days. But by continuously building in Project Heaven, his newer sites show vastly advanced coding skills. Time and practice really do yield results.
But let's be totally honest with each other. That very first project, it's going to be rough. Say you want to build a simple website that calculates the cost of pressure washing a driveway. Sounds super easy, right? Nope. You will have to Google absolutely everything. You're going to be tempted to quit when your eyes get dry, your posture deteriorates into modern art, and the backs of your thighs are literally sticking to your chair. But pushing through that exact struggle is the only way you're ever going to learn.
Now, what if you aren't exactly passionate about pressure washing or anything else really, and you're just coding to pay the bills? Well, the Projects tab on roadmap.sh is about to be your best friend. It gives you really useful projects based on the language you're learning, sets up the guidelines, and shows you how to use GitHub. But crucially, and this is key, it does not give you the final code. Unlike a YouTube video, it forces you to figure out the solution yourself. No easy copy-pasting here.
And once you've mastered building projects, you enter our final section. Section 5, Surviving LeetCode Limbo, the absolute final boss of your coding journey.
Bluntly put, LeetCode is basically a website where you can practice staring blankly at a computer screen and understanding absolutely nothing for weeks on end. But unless you're applying to a company where you just happen to be the firstborn child of the CEO, LeetCode is the law. It is the ultimate hurdle you have to clear for top-tier tech interviews.
And this brilliantly illustrates the whole reality of the industry. As the source states, being good at solving LeetCode problems is like a secret handshake between you and your interviewer. You see, companies don't really have a perfect way to test your skills in a quick 30-minute chat. So instead, they demand this secret handshake to prove you understand core concepts like maps, sets, and trees. Is it a perfect system? Probably not, but it is a mandatory hoop you have to jump there.
To actually survive this limbo, you need some solid grounding tactics. First off, space your practice out over several months. Do not try to cram 75 complex problems into a single week. You'll burn out. And please, don't get intimidated by YouTubers who seem to solve hard problems instantly. Just remind yourself that every single developer, no matter how skilled they are today, started at the exact same bottom, struggling to solve the basic two-sum problem using super slow, inefficient code.
And hey, as the source dryly jokes, if the LeetCode grind gets entirely too tough and you just can't take it anymore, well, there's always the golden arches. McDonald's is the new meta.
But I know that won't be you. We've mapped out the levels, you know the tools, you understand the mindset, and you know exactly which pitfalls to avoid. So I'm leaving you with this final question. Will you stay comfortably paralyzed in tutorial hell, or are you going to close this explainer, open your editor, and actually build your way to Project Heaven? The roadmap is right in front of you. Now, it's time to start.